we've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on our giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Drive-In Speaker Box. It is another day. We are here live. It is Monday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, December 26th. We just passed Christmas, and I'm wearing a Christmas sweater. You're tuned in to this show. We're about to talk about, what are you wearing there?
Pizza Planet.
Pizza Planet.
Yeah. It's cold. Still, I got my
Cold pizza. It's good for breakfast. But you're tuned into the Drive-In Speaker Box. We're going to be talking about movies for the next hour-ish. And I, as always, am your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I am Slick Doggy the Grip.
And we are here. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. For those of you that are on Twitch, you just had a half hour with us behind the scenes chit-chat. We were talking about all kinds of stuff. If you want to follow us on Twitch and subscribe, you can get access to these bonus perks. You can always follow us on our Discord channel, which someone's bound to throw that link up there, or it is pinned in our channel information. If you go to one of our Facebook, our Twitch, or our YouTube channels, you can check out that. Shout outs to Adam over on YouTube saying, "Sup, dudes?" Sup right back at you. Happy holidays and all that. And big shout outs to everybody that's already in the Twitch comment thread, just hanging out. Make sure to check out that sweet promotional offer that Sick and Dank 4HW threw out there about low price guaranteed for increasing your followers. You can make sure you get in on that.
Dogewiener.com or something like that.
Dogewiener.fart.
Yeah,
for more followers.
That half hour leading up to it, actually, we ended up just talking about video games and things we did. You know what I forgot to mention, though, just real quick? I'm a big Metroidvania fan.
Like the style of game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like
Metroidvanias
Metroid and Castlevania.
I do too, yeah.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night, one of the greatest games ever created. Hard stop. Often duplicated. Never emulated.
They launched a big, successful Netflix anime about it.
So good. But yeah, we were. I do enjoy Metroidvania style games because I mean it's like playing Symphony of the Night again. You know, platformers, side scrollers. Yeah, sign me up because I know where I'm going, and it's to the right or to the left. Like this 360 degrees. Like I'll just wind up in a corner, spinning in a circle, waiting for someone to stab me in the back if I'm in like a 3D environment. This is not good, not fun. So
I wish I had a glass I could break since Velvet Santa's asking, what is man?
It's a miserable sack of lies.
Have at you.
Yeah. Could you ever beat Dracula without like having Maria go Richter and like
at the beginning?
You? Yeah.
And whoop Dracula's dumb ass.
That's how you get better. No, everybody whoops his dumb ass, but if you whoop his dumb ass before like you lose one life bar, and then Maria comes down and like gives you magic juice, and then it makes your Alucard stronger when you start the game.
If you beat him, or if you have her help?
No, if you beat him without her help.
Oh yeah, I beat him like 98 out of 100 times.
You just do the kick dash.
But I can't remember if it's better to have the cross-a-rang or the holy water. The holy water is like my favorite one
because you get 3 hits. You get 1, 2, and then the one on the way back.
Yeah, but one of them you do like your super, and he's like Super Saiyan.
And the crosses go around.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Was it the cross you had to have to do that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I still like the holy water the best.
Because
if you know how to position the holy water, it goes causes all the damage.
Yeah.
Anyhow, movies.
Dude, if you've
but
never
that did make a fun everyone liked that Castlevania Netflix.
If you've never, it was a great show. If you've never heard the Castlevania Symphony of the Night score, it is like a bravissimo. It's very good.
I would say that because everyone else pretend their tires are cross ring. I mean, Yeah,
I mean, why wouldn't
Castlevania.
you could probably kill some with it. It wouldn't have to be a werewolf.
Going to come back.
No, it wouldn't come back, and neither would they. So just like bonk. But anyway, we're going to talk about movies. We're going to be talking about Avatar later in the program. I went and saw Avatar Water Play, or whatever, Way of the Water. Wet and Wild Avatars.
Yeah.
Avatar's Gone Wild.
Avatar 2, Wet and Wild.
Wet and Wild. Bikini Beach Bottom Avatar. We're going to be talking about that later in the show. But before we get into that, this is the way that if you're new, if you've got driving speaker box training wheels, the way that the show goes is we open up and we say, hey, and we give you all those plugs and we like and subscribe and blah, blah, blah. Here's some links, click this shit. And then we give you news that happened in the week, which is going to be really awkward this week because it was the Christmas week and nobody really did shit but sit around and eat popcorn and watch Avatar. But then we tell you what's coming out next weekend, which is also going to be really awkward because everyone's afraid of Avatar and there's no real movies coming out this weekend. And then after that, we review a movie. And then after that, we tell you the box office roundup. And that's like the way that the show has always been structured. But today, 2 of our segments don't have a lot to talk about because it was Christmas.
I got some news.
Well,
But there's
lay it on me.
there's not a lot.
What was the news?
Well, in the news here, you know what we did have? Talking James Cameron, there was an AI written, directed, and storyboarded movie that was released.
What?
Did you not see it?
No. Are you sure it's not like an Instagram account you found? It was like, we found some lost slides of
No.
the Labyrinth Star
No,
Wars.
it's like a real 5-minute movie with like a 6 minute and 15-second runtime with the credits and stuff.
And it was all AI generated.
Mm-hmm. They used the prompts. They used a chat bot. So you know all those memes where it's like, I fed this and this and this into an AI and it wrote a script for friends and and it does like the thing where it's like the 1 page of script.
And it was somehow more boring than actual Friends.
So they actually did that with a chat bot. It did all of the dialogue. It wrote the entire script. And it gave directorial instructions on how to do camera angles, where to zoom, who to follow. It even gave how to do the lighting and wardrobe choices for the characters. And then to help storyboard the movie, they put it into DALL-E 2 to create images for the storyboard.
Is DALL-E still like because right now Midjourney is the crazy one, but I haven't looked at DALL-E anymore.
I don't remember what the name of the chat bot that they used.
I've been using Midjourney to make some stuff, and that is
because it kind of relates to what we were talking about last week there.
DALL-E.
I'm trying to find.
Anyway, it's AI, right? Okay, so they threw it in.
Yeah. So they put it in a chat bot, and it wrote this entire movie.
And how was it?
Did
you watch
it? It's a short film. I watched it. It's It's not good. I can tell you that. It's not like it's going to blow your socks off or anything.
Well, I wouldn't expect it to.
No,
it's still learning.
Yeah. So, I should have wrote the chatbot name down. It doesn't matter.
No.
But it's a 3-character, or 4-character with a man on the TV script. And it's about an AI that takes over the world, and they're having to get to the safe zone, which is the title of the short film.
Safe zone.
Yeah,
okay.
The safe zone. And with that, they're debating amongst the siblings because only one person per family can be moved to the safe zone. And while they're arguing and debating, the AI takes over their TV and flashes images of the apocalypse on their faces, and it's like, no one's going to the safe zone. The AI controls everything. I'm in charge of your destiny, and you have no option. And then the dude at the
so it's HAL, basically.
Kind of, yeah. But they all just have to succumb to the overlord that is the AI.
So Skynet. It's
the end. Well, and that's the thing. So the thing about that movie,
Singularity,
and Skynet is James Cameron with things like this coming out and them being like, this will change the way that movies are written. It threatens Hollywood or whatever. But a lot of people like, it can help because we can get the basic idea of what to do and then just edit it and make it into something. But James,
so thousands of storyboarders are going to be out of work.
Maybe. But James Cameron came out and he was like, if I was to do Terminator again, which they're have been multiple talks about, he would focus more heavily on the AI portion of it being the scary part than just bad robots doing scary things.
The thing about Terminator that was scary is it was AI. Skynet was
But that's
the
what he's
AI.
saying. He would
the
focus.
robots were like AI it has to have something to control.
He would focus more on that, and
like Brave Little Toaster, just like dark.
well, but the last
Maximum Overdrive.
was it the last Terminator or the
with
Terminator
AI.
before last, where it was
Genesis?
about the app? Yeah,
Oh,
was
God. I think
it
no,
Genesis?
No, Genesis was actually okay. I think it was one before Genesis.
No, Genesis was the one that was okay. What's the one that had the girl bot lady human person from the future?
That was the last one that came out.
Yeah, what was that one called?
Velvet Santa, that Genesis had the app too.
Yeah, Genesis was the one with the app that Arnold at the end became like a part regular, part liquid.
Dark Fate.
Yeah, that one's trash. But so Genesis kind of did the AI thing a little bit with the whole app deal, and the app became Skynet and all that stuff. But James Cameron was like, I'll focus more on the AI portion of it, because in the past, Terminator's been like, yeah, Skynet took over and all this stuff, but the Terminators themselves are really what is the scary part,
right?
Because that's like the action portion of it. But he's like,
Yeah,
really,
because you can see and you can touch it. And back then, not everybody was as familiar
but
with...
AI is a more relatable and
Well,
semi-tangible
now it is.
thing.
Not
now.
in 1985, it
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah. So apparently James Cameron is
1985, you still had to grab like a telephone and like go click into your computer, and then
well,
like
and the AI is
make
going
a
to take
hot-
over the world. You just unplug the phone cable, and
you
it's
had-
like
you put bras on your head, and then you put the phone on the computer, and then you make a hot babe girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like that's how you use computers in the 80s.
But she's not there to be your girlfriend. She's there to teach you life lessons and help you figure out how to get your own girlfriends, because she's there to improve your life, not to be the means of, like, not to be the end, but the means to the end, because really she cares about you and your progress as a person.
Lisa was actually a very well-written, strong female lead. for those-
Yeah. Weird Science is badass, because they're like, let's make a chick with boobs that'll let us touch them, and he's like, yeah, dude.
And
then
they do it.
and then she shows up and she's like, what if I just make your life better and don't let you touch the boobs, because you boys need to grow up. And then they learn about life, and it's a fantastic movie. And Robert Downey Jr.
They learn
is
how
a
to be
butthole,
responsible.
man.
They learn how to like take responsibility for their actions. They learn how to be strong, and Lisa's just like my boys, and she really came in and was a mother figure, made of magic. Dude, Weird Science is a good movie.
Weird Science is such a good
And everybody
movie.
that-
And then Chet gets turned into a turd.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, guys. Or what does he say? Is like, serve you something. What was he gonna serve him? Like a bowl of soup and a smelly ashtray or whatever.
I don't know. He just
says
kept
something.
calling him turds, so
Yeah.
Lisa turned him
turd.
into a turd. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody that thinks they know that movie is like, oh, it's just about these two teenage boys trying to make titties. No, it is not. It is.
That's the
it is-
first 15 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, see it to the end. In a greasy ashtray. God, Bill Paxton, an amazing man. Speaking of Bill Paxton news, what a good segue into the piece of news I
Also
had.
Terminator related.
Also
turns
terminated.
out,
Yeah, he
because
was the Mohawk guy, wasn't he? Yeah, your spiky hair. Anyway, Twister, the Twister sequel, which has been being talked about forever, is set to touch down in 2024, according to Variety this
Well, they
week.
can't do it with Bill Paxton now.
Well, they're gonna make the kid of Hunt and Paxton.
I hate it.
Joe and Bill, I guess the characters in that one. But Amblin Entertainment coming to head this one up again. Steven Spielberg talking about somehow getting involved personally, but Universal and Amblin have found a director, hoping to nail down Mark L. Smith from the Revenant. And they want it because the original Twister, I mean, it made almost $500 million at the box office. And at the time, that was huge for a movie that was not an IP, not a comic book. It was just a good ass movie with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton and being awesome.
When Velvet Santa pointed out, Philip Seymour Hoffman, he's one of the Storm Chaser guys. He's not around anymore
Nope.
either. So.
And it's Oklahoma Twisters, which we know a lot about because they're right over there. And Velvet Santa says great soundtrack with Van Halen and Mark Knopfler. Pretty fun pinball machine. Has a 5-ball multi-ball. It's pretty cool. It spins around and like in a twister, and they go all over the place.
Let's not forget the cow.
The flying cow. How could you? Did they decommission that ride in Universal Studios?
I don't know. I actually watched Twister at the drive-in at our recently deceased drive-in.
I think we went to that same show. Did we not? I don't know. Maybe it was the same
I'm talking
weekend.
when I was like a kid.
Oh, they re-released it here. But the Universal Studios Twister ride or Twister experience was always kind of cheesy and fun, but it was cool. Oh, it was closed. No, 98. It did not shut down in 98 because I went. In the not 90s, I went in the 2000s, and I went and saw it, and I had a great time because the cow like went whoo whoo whoo, and it was great. But I think that they may have decommissioned it and put like Minions up instead. But anyway, so they're planning on this 2024, trying to get it released. I don't think I like this news. I think it's just going to be another cash grab, as all things are. They're like, can we get a movie somebody's familiar with, but nobody's attached to it, so we don't really have to be faithful to any sort of source material, and then make a new one. And
I mean, what source material? Storm Chasers. I mean, it's real. It's, But talking about bad ideas in movies, Nicolas Cage did an interview recently, and he said he really wants to do a musical, even though he knows he can't sing very well, because he said he's done everything else.
And it'll be the greatest musical.
And there will
ever.
be a built-in audience for it, for sure.
Yeah, me.
Velvet Santa saw Terminator 2 3D twice. We watched it once. We went together and watched T2 in 3D with the release of that.
I think he was talking about the Terminator ride at Universal, which I did that too. But we did see T2 in 3D.
Yeah, and it was actually really good.
Pretty awesome.
And the only changes Cameron made to it was he enhanced, he changed out the stuntman's faces and did like a digital replacement, so it looked like Arnold doing the stunts instead of a dude with a completely different haircut. Terminator has sick tunes.
All the movie.
No,
themes.
you're right.
They're up there.
Talking about movies in the future too. You see all the stuff about James Gunn's DC, because that's going to be in the news for a while.
I'm so
now.
tired of hearing about James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and
James
Gunn's
hold on.
DC. And
We
James
can't
Gunn.
talk Marvel. We're getting away from Marvel. We're doing our boy Vince a favor
well,
here.
he's not even here.
Well,
He'll
come back. He'll be here. He'll watch
I'm worried about Vince. Because Vince
true.
is a viewer that's been on our Twitch. He's been on our Periscope. This dude's been a viewer since we were on the radio, like just barely doing live streams. We were still on air, and he somehow found us, like in Chicago. I don't know, but he's our Twitch mod, and he's generally the first and last person in the chat, and he's not here. So hope he's doing okay.
But to do him a solid, not talk about Marvel.
Okay,
don't talk.
Let's talk about
it.
James Gunn. And
James
let's talk about
Gunn
other
and
comic
not
books.
Marvel stuff. Other comic books, which will help occupy the news for the foreseeable future here. Per an article on Yahoo here, he has been answering some questions asked by fans, and his first things about it is that the DC universe, as seen by him and whoever the other dude in control of it is now, said it'll be something different. But that's down the line, because first they have to get through the remaining 4 DC movies of the already killed DCEU.
So Shabam is coming out, right?
Shazam 2, Flash, Blue Beetle, and
that's right.
Aquaman 2, because they nixed Batgirl.
Wait, I thought we already got Aquaman 2.
No. Aquaman 2 is like the last of those.
So what was... Did we not already have 2 Aquaman movies?
No.
Really?
Yeah, the second one hasn't come out yet. Because that was the whole thing with
the first one was just
Johnny Depp.
Double stupid. It felt like 2 bad movies.
Talking about people ripping off
That's the one with all the
IPs.
crabs and like the 4 sea armies, like having a dumbass battle on the bottom of the ocean that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah.
And then the guy from Insidious, or
Exactly.
something was
Yeah,
like, I'm also a bad crustacean-wearing armor guy.
The majority of the movie was just crap. What? I had it and I lost it.
And then Black Manta. I thought there was like two Black Manta. Like Black Manta came
No,
out in
what's
one movie.
the-
Was he in Justice League?
No, yeah, Aquaman was.
No, it was Black Manta in Justice
No,
League.
not at all. What's the Uncharted? It's Uncharted 2. Aquaman was just Uncharted 2, and then they made him Aquaman at the end.
But didn't
for
we
the-
just get an Uncharted movie?
Yes, they had the same scenes in it because it was
Now it's
also
like-
based on the same game.
Mark Wahlberg was like, "Hey, Spider-Man, let's go find some treasures. Hey, how's your
yeah,
mother?"
So, yeah, we have not yet had Aquaman 2 because the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, everyone's like, well, screw Amber Heard, take her out of the movie. We didn't want her in this to begin with. And DC was like, we're not going to back down on this. Hey, thanks, Al Topic.
Oh yeah, thanks for the follow, Al.
They've yet to release Aquaman 2. That has not come out yet. That's going to be...
Electric.
That's
Boogaloo.
last in line. We got to get Shazam 2 first, then the Flash.
So Shazam 2, then think about the DC universe.
Blue Beetle might be last because I think Blue Beetle's still filming because it has Jaime Reyes is played
Yeah.
by the dude from Cobra Kai,
right?
Which
will be good.
in video game news, Cobra Kai 2 video game just snuck on in there and got released like a week or two ago.
You know what's going to be really, really funny? Because, you've got the Shazam movie that they're like, oh, God, we got to, even though the first one was pretty good and no one liked Black Adam, but we're going to release the Shazam movie anyway. And then, God, we got to get through Flash because Ezra Miller is like murdered and beat up and
Well, I wonder,
burgled.
are they going to edit out any Black Adam stuff from Shazam 2?
I don't know. But here's what's going to be really, really funny because Blue Beetle coming out before or after Aquaman?
Probably after,
So Blue Beetle will be the last of the four.
I would think.
Here's my prediction. Blue Beetle is going to make a shitload of money. And Blue Beetle is going to be the one that
Especially if they bring in Booster Gold.
well, Blue Beetle is going to be the DC's Black Panther. And it's because it's going to be, the minority superhero that everybody loves, and everybody's like, this is the one that makes me a fan of this universe. And then they're going to be going,
It's already
"Oh,
nixed. It's
shit."
already gone.
Right, and that's what's going to be really interesting to watch is because what is DC going to do? Because
So-
their card is Blue Beetle.
That's a whole thing about James Gunn's DC is how much of the DCEU is going to remain in his DCU
What's the E?
extended universe.
Oh God.
That's what they've always called their cinematic universe because Marvel has MCU, they're Marvel Cinematic. So DC was like, what's the DCEU?
I thought that was like the
No,
DCU, is that the animated stuff?
DCU is just DC Universe, but that's what they're going to call it. It's now DC Studios instead of Warner Brothers Division DC Extended Universe Story, whatever.
God, I need a flow chart.
It's now DC Studios, okay? It's the DC Studios. But the point of it is people have been asking him questions. They said they want commentary tracks added to their Blu-ray releases. And he said, I'll work on it. And they said that they want coordination with the comics and the movie releases so that they can get reprints of comics that feature some of the stories that influence the movies. And he said, I'll work on it. And then they said, is there going to be studio interference like there was with Zack Snyder that makes it where we hate everything about DC? Because as you see from the Snyder Cut, if they would have just waited for him to grieve his deceased child and not brought in friggin' Joss Whedon that everyone hates now, finally, to reshoot and ruin the entire movie, everyone would have liked the Zack Snyder cut and they might have gotten somewhere with some DC stuff. And he goes, the only interference is going to be from me and my partner. So we're the only two allowed to direct these things. Don't worry about it because we're not going to interfere with ourselves.
Like James Gunn, I think his whole tactic, which has always been his tactic, is he's going to go,
DCE.
I'm going to go find the
funny.
dumbest characters. I'm gonna go dig up wiener fingers and shark butt and tarantula titties, and we're just going to make this crazy, wacky, like musically inspired, wacky gang.
Are you talking about Suicide Squad?
Oh yeah, he already did that. Oh, and Guardians of the Galaxy. That's right, he already did that too. And that's what he's just gonna do that with all the DC. He's gonna maybe maybe we'll get a Plastic Man. Maybe this is the way that we'll get a Plastic Man.
Plastic Man is highly unlikely. But what they did say is that people have been asking questions, and it has been highly alluded to that there's going to be influence from Justice League Unlimited and Young Justice because DC Animated kills it.
Well, yeah,
all the time.
But Young Justice is already done, and it was already good. We don't go watch that.
They're gonna it's gonna influence and Justice League Unlimited is really, really, really good. And you know what makes Justice League Unlimited good? Every episode, they're like, here's an obscure DC character, and they don't give an origin or an introduction. They're like, here's the question. Here's Plastic Man. Here's 7 of the Blue Beetles. Here's Booster Gold. Here is characters from the Legion of Superheroes in the year 3000. They're just like, here's these heroes. Mr. Terrific, figure it out.
Just shows up.
Yeah, and they're there because
here's a mother box.
Yeah, they are heroes. They're established. You don't need to do the whole thing, and that's what made Justice League Unlimited so cool. Is because every episode wasn't just it wasn't the Trinity. It wasn't Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman every episode. Some episodes you would get Huntress and Question. Some episodes you would have whoever. And it was fun. You're like, oh, wow, DC has so many heroes, and this is rad, and all the stories were so good. But instead, DCEU has been what it has been so far.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Well, that's on TV. That's like its whole thing. But the point is here, DC's future is... who knows? Who knows what?
I'm just so tired of comic book movies, man. When I was sitting in the theater for Avatar
Not going to end anytime soon.
Every single trailer was a comic book movie. And I'm like, are we... Oh, my God. Where have we come? I didn't get an Indiana Jones trailer. I thought I was going to get one. We didn't get one. It was just Shazam, and then Ant-Man, and then some other Marvel one that I forgot. There was like 4 all comic book trailers. I'm just like, yeah.
Did you see the trailer for Knock at the Cabin?
Yeah, but that wasn't in my movie. That's the new M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, the Shyamalan with
Drax.
Batista and what's his name? Rupert Grint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks pretty Shyamalan-y.
Yeah, about a
group of weirdos gonna go kill some other people in the woods because
it's a
trying
family,
to save the world.
A trio family, gay dads and their adopted ethnic child, and they're in a cabin in the woods. But then this very diverse group of people shows up to their cabin, and they say, "Listen, one of you has to die, and you got to pick who it is, or everyone in the world will die, 100,000 at a time for every time you don't make a decision." And they're like, well, we're not doing it. And they're like, watch the TV, people are dying, and it's your fault. And
yeah, I mean, as Albert says, Knock Knock looks pretty good. I'm here for it. Everybody gives Shyamalan a bad rap, and I will admittedly also give him a bad rap for Unbreakable and Avatar. But for the most part, he's a pretty good director.
What's wrong with Unbreakable?
It's stupid.
The first one?
Yeah.
Oh no,
it's boring.
It might be a little boring.
I thought
Unbreakable is like one of the ones that everyone liked.
No.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Everyone liked Sixth Sense and everyone liked Unbreakable.
Sixth Sense was great. And then the James McAvoy Split or whatever, I thought that one was better than Unbreakable. And but it was part of the Unbreakaverse.
Yeah, and then they did that third one. And
it was like
Glass.
Oops. Yeah. What have we done? But yeah, I don't like Unbreakable. I never have. That was the thing that pissed me off so hard about Split is
they linked it to Unbreakable
at the very end where Unbreakable comes in the back and he goes, "Oh, I'm sitting here in a diner," and I'm like, I just like this movie and now I hate it.
Al Topic says Unbreakable better than Sixth Sense. I'm gonna agree with that. Actually, I think Unbreakable is better, and the twist in Unbreakable is more fun.
See, this is where I get mad.
The Shyamalan twist,
because everybody's expecting a twist. Why does it have to have a twist?
He established that himself.
No, he didn't. Everybody put that on him. You do it one time, and everybody thinks that's what you got to do.
He doesn't do it one time. He did it many times.
He did it like twice.
Unbreakable and Sixth Sense.
No.
Yeah.
He did Sixth Sense, and then he did Signs, and it was like, okay.
Signs came out before Unbreakable?
Pretty sure.
I don't think so.
And then that was like water. They're afraid
Yeah,
of.
That's not a twist.
The aliens invade the one planet that is 70% of the thing that they don't like. But whatever. What I'm saying is he's not all about the twist, and everybody looks for the twist. And when they don't get a twist, they go, well, he sucks. And it's like, well, why?
So Vince coming in says he'd have to say he really liked Unbreakable, but the more I watch it, the more it's like sand through my hand. Yeah, so Unbreakable is like, it's not like a watch it on every year movie like a Christmas movie. I mean, you can sit there and break it down and be like, well.
No, it's Unbreakable.
Yeah, well.
Womp.
Yeah.
The
twist is that Glass was the villain the whole time, and it's a good twist. It's like a good comic book plot like thing, the way that it's aiming for, and that's what makes it a fun movie, is that he was discovered and somewhat trained or led to be who he is by the villain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's fun,
It wasn't
man.
deep.
No one said it was deep, but it's a good movie.
It wasn't even a twist. The twist is that there was no twist. I don't know.
The twist is that he also would succumb to water, like the aliens.
Yeah.
What's Shyamalan's deal with water?
Yeah, he must be afraid of water. Anyway, I'm just not a big fan of Unbreakable. Sorry, I don't know. And I love its pedigree. If I had to Bruce
watch
Willis, Sam Jackson, sign me up. I was there.
If I had to watch one Shyamalan movie, it would be Unbreakable.
Nah, man.
I like it better than Sixth Sense, when he turns that light on under the blankets and that lady's just like, puke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, M. Night Shyamalan, Knock Knock, that trailer is running around. But anyway, we need to, this is the part where we tell you what movies are coming out this weekend. There aren't any. So there you go.
Hold on. There was one more bit of news that was
one more
just
bit of
like a fun thing. So I Want to Dance came out just prior to Christmas, yeah? And being a musical biopic, it of course has wild inaccuracies.
Right.
But there's interviews and articles with the director, and the director is like, oh yeah, here's the inaccuracies of the movie. Or they're like, was this true? And it's like, oh yeah, that 100% true. Here's the research we did, and this is how you know it's real. And they're like, well, what about this? Because that seems like
because it was also a 3-hour movie.
Is it?
I think so. It's
wow, there's
like
no way I'm going to watch that
time.
Everything
in the theater right now is like 3 hours.
There's like one thing where like, is it true that Whitney Houston was really zonked out on drugs and that's why she missed her dad's funeral? And they're like, we don't know that 100%, but she went into rehab just like a couple months later.
But
so
there's
she was
a greater than zero probability that this may have been the thing.
Yeah, they're like, well, she might have been just mad at him still.
Bobby Brown didn't want to talk about it.
But yeah, so
2 hours 26 minutes.
It's kind of fun to see that the director of a musical biopic will engage in a conversation about what is and what is not accurate in that film, whereas like ones with like Bohemian Rhapsody, they're like, well, this is the story of Queen, and then like everyone's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, wait a minute,
that's not real.
That's the fun thing about biopics is, most of the time to make it work on film, it can't be
entertaining.
Otherwise it's just a documentary, and documentaries are can sometimes put you to sleep. Anyway, Velvet just watched Walk Hard. Oh.
Yeah, Walk Hard's the best one.
What is with everybody's obsession with Walk Hard?
Have you ever seen it?
I've tried.
It's amazing. It's so good. I can smell again. I can smell horse shit. It's awful. It's so good. It's just a dumb comedy, man.
I know. I agree.
The wrong kid died.
Oh, Dewey Cox. Anyway, what was I going to say? Movies that are coming out this weekend, there aren't, because Avatar is still out. It's a holiday weekend. Nobody wants to compete with that. It's New Year's Eve weekend. This is a terrible time for movies.
That's true, especially.
Thank you, James.
New Year's is on a Sunday, so who's going to be sitting in a movie theater letting midnight roll by as they're
sitting and watch a movie.
Movie
Albert says he wants to see Babylon. I also want to see Babylon, even though it is another 3-hour-long movie.
More than 3 hours, isn't it?
Oh, no, it's like 3 hours, 4 minutes, something like that. It's like right at the 3 hour mark.
I posted in the Discord one of the article review titles for it was that it was a pile of elephant turds or something like that.
Babylon?
Mm-hmm.
Some of I read a review, or just the highlight of a review. I try not to read reviews until after I've seen a movie, But someone was saying like the first 2 hours were great. The third hour was kind of just like dragging on. And I mean, that's like the 3-hour movies, man. Like, come on. We don't need them. We most certainly do not need them.
Talking of James Cameron and his movies, remember when Titanic came out and everyone's like, dude, it's 3 hours. And everyone's like, 3 hours?
Yeah, that's 2 VHS tapes long.
It was a 2 VHS tape long movie. And that was a big deal. What's my Discord
Velvet
handle?
Santa asks in Twitch, what's your Discord handle? Isn't it like Jubei Dude?
Yeah, y'all can have it. So that's my handle on everything. Vince put it, but there's an I after the E. That's me on Xbox and Twitch, and
you can follow him. You can play him in video games.
Yeah, that's true. That's me on every video game ever, except for PlayStation. I went to sign up for PSN, and they said someone took my name, so I might have signed up for it years ago on something that I don't remember and can't access it. So I'm Jubei Dude 1 on PlayStation, but
number 1.
Every PC game,
not like 69 or 1134 or 8008.
You know what though? I signed up for my PSN account with Jubei Dude email, so it's like there's only one of me.
The OG dude, Jubei Dude. Let's see here. Anyway, so there's no movies coming out this weekend, so there you have it. It's a weird time. There are movies in theaters right now you can go see. Like Al was saying, Babylon is out there. It's actually in a lot more theaters than you'd think. Most people are really looking at Avatar and Puss in Boots, which are both in over 4,000 theaters nationwide. The Whitney Houston and the Babylon are both just over 3,000 theaters nationwide. You can, the Whitney Houston movie is actually in 3,600 theaters nationwide. It's out there.
What's wild about that is that there were trailers for that everywhere, and then the last couple of months it disappeared, and all of a sudden it just.
It's because Avatar. Everybody's just getting beaten over the brain with the hammer of Avatar, and they forgot about it. That's marketing.
Vince watched The Fabelmans.
Vince over on Twitch, he said he watched The Fabelmans, thought it was fine. It's not all about movies.
I had plans to watch it last week for a minute, but it also is a 3-hour movie.
3-hour movie. It's only in about 1,100 theaters nationwide, so not in a whole lot of movie theaters out there currently. So the top 10 movies, only, let's see, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all not in very many theaters. It's the top 4 that are predominantly in every theater on the country. So there you go. Al Topich says the only good movie longer than 3 hours is the 7-hour epic Santantango or Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai more than 3 hours?
I think it's close to 4. Yeah, Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai does not feel like it's that long.
Ooh, awesome.
Ron is like that long.
Yeah, Ron's pretty freaking long.
How long is Kagemusha? Kagemusha is like.
Well, Velvet Santa says The Stand was good, but The Stand was a miniseries.
Now, now that we're talking Kurosawa movies can be as long as they want to be because they're amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The thing about Kurosawa movies, though, is
there's a point to why it's that long, and there's something always happening, and there's that story. So the space and the pauses and all of that adds depth to those stories and gravity and in intensity that you need to make those.
Well, it also enhances the realism.
Well, especially the formality of everything. Japanese and the samurai stuff. Oh, Kurosawa movies are so good.
Movies are great. Anyway, let's talk about Avatar. I saw Avatar, Way of the Water, a.k.a. Waterplay, a.k.a. Waterworld, a.k.a. Na'vi with tails and fins, a.k.a. The Windows 98 desktop screensaver, a.k.a. 3 hours and 15 minutes of CGI David Attenborough, a.k.a. 3 hours of my life I can't get back, aka connective tissue between the first and third one.
You're the only person I've heard so far that hasn't had just a glowing review of this movie.
Well, and here's the deal, and this is what I kind of teased at a little bit in the pre-roll show.
It's all about water.
I want somebody that watched this movie to tell me what this movie was about. Okay, the first Avatar, all right, we got it. There's people from Earth. They're coming down here to get this rare mineral, and they're kind of ferngullying up this planet full of people that are just like, we love trees. And then, America is in there like, we freaking hate trees. We're mowing them down and get metal to make our machines because that's what we do. Capitalism, you piece of shit. Smog city. And then they're like,
and then Tim Curry comes out and sings and like sucks the smoke
and
pipes
goes,
and stuff.
Slime beneath me, slime up above. Ooh, my toxic love.
Yeah.
Fern Gully song. Yeah, I got them all up here. But anyway, so the first movie, it granted it was again, the whole white savior Pocahontas thing everybody talked about. But Velvet Sand says it's about love and loss, strife and hardship in a world life. No, it's not about any of those things. It's about a bad guy from the first one that you thought was dead coming back, hell-bent on revenge.
Because they copied his brain into a computer.
And that's it. That's the whole fucking movie. Like, there is literally nothing else in the movie.
I thought they wanted whale drugs.
Oh, that was like the tiny, it was like space ambergris that all of a sudden, like, even though that sky people have only been on Pandora for barely a calendar year, they have managed to discover and create a whole industry around whale or space ambergris that they, in one sentence of a 3-hour movie, give you the reason why they want it. And he goes, it's rich stuff. It keeps us young. Anyway, that's it. Moving on. Like, you're like, wait, what? I thought you guys were going to try and terraform a planet because Earth was dying, but nobody talked about that anymore. And now you've got New Zealand pirates that somehow have established and created all of this very specialized machinery for killing this one species of animal. They also just happen to discover that its brain juice keeps them alive longer. Like, what the fuck is happening here? And why did you not expand on any of this? It's just, no, we wanted to have a John Wick moment where you get really sad when a whale dies so that when we kill these white people, you're going to be really happy about it. That's all that was. That is all that was, okay? And, Al's like, it's a movie that was written because James Cameron wanted to create new technology. He didn't really create that much new technology because the same shit he used in Abyss and Titanic. He's got a hard-on for water stuff. Like,
Titanic, he did invent new technology.
No, I'm saying he did. It's the same stuff that he's used a bunch of times. And, it's nothing happened in this movie. And you're like, oh, but the one character that died was so sad. And I was like, oh, you could tell from the first the first act of the movie, this is the character who's going to die. It was because the one you couldn't remember his name because he was so underdeveloped. Like, it was just like, this is the most wafer thin plot line. But everybody that comes out of that theater is going to go, man, that was kind of cool. Because, yeah, a lot of cool shit on the screen is going to be kind of cool, but it does not make a good movie. If you had told me why the Sky People came back in more than one sentence, like, that's what made me so mad about this movie. It's 3 fucking hours long, and you got 2 sentences of plot. 2 sentences. 2 tiny sentences of plot. They don't explain anything, any reason, or why this guy is so hell-bent on revenge, even though multiple times, like, all you have is this dude's memories. And he's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and ruin all of these resources to just completely derail the storyline, to chase this one guy for no particular reason other than revenge. And I'm going to get his family, and all of these military people are going to do exactly what I say, even though I'm leading them all to their doom and wasting all of this money, because we got to get this guy. Why do we got to get this guy? Because I just don't like him. That's why. And
because he's the human in the Avatar.
But there's at least 10 or 20 human avatars now. Like, some of the science dudes stayed behind, and they're like Avatar people too, and they've integrated into the Na'vi, and and then there's they're introducing a whole new biome of like water people, because the next one's going to be about fire people, so there's going to be like a Na'vi desert probably. Like, let's clip this. Here's my prediction for the next one, which they haven't revealed any of the plot, but it's going to be a different element because there's clearly a trend here. We've got woods elves, and then sea elves, and then volcano elves, and
fire,
and then all right, let's say, well, they can't
underground.
Vince says, I wonder why they scrapped the air when I went with the water. The air must have been really nothing, but they keep calling the sky people the humans, so they can't call them. They can't be 2 sky people. Anyway, here's the deal. This is what's going to happen in the third one. It's going to be volcano people or desert people, like hot people, right? And they're going to be the Na'vi that are all, oh yeah, this is the way we live, and this is the way our tribe is unique, and indigenous cultures that don't exist are still underrepresented on screen for whatever reason. I don't know how that math works, but you know, they're going to be out there, and since Earth is dying, if you've ever seen what's the movie with Charlie Sheen, Contact.
Hot Shots Part 2.
No. I think it's the one where the aliens, they have the bendy backwards knees and they talk like this. They go, oh yeah, I'm gonna let you go on. And they're like trying to terraform the planet. And he's like friends with the little kid, the little black kid that's like hanging out with him. And he's the betrayer the whole time. You're like, oh shit. And there's such a twist. Charlie Sheen. Yeah. Tiger's Blood. And anyway, I think it's Contact, and it's not like the one with what's her face. But anyway, whatever. That movie's about aliens terraforming the planet, right? And so they're going to places.
The Wraith?
And
is that right?
no, the Wraith is where he wears the helmet and he's the guy and he stops whatever. The Arrival, that's it, which is the other movie that is also called The Arrival that is not the same thing. Thank you, Al. Anyway, so it's a terraforming movie, right? And the aliens have been here the whole time and they got to terraform the planet. What's the best way to do that is because the only thing that this movie Avatar did that was consistent was show you that Na'vi people couldn't breathe Earth air, and the Earth people couldn't breathe Na'vi air. That was the only. This is a very breathing heavy movie that they never really told you about, but breathing was so important.
Wait, in the first movie, don't humans get exposed to the atmosphere?
Everybody wore a mask, even the main character, even the other co-main character, like Spider, who was basically just the kid from Thunderdome that was running around being the feral kid, and he had the little feral.
Not Thunderdome, so
or Mad Max,
the boomerang boy from Road Warrior.
Road Warrior. And anyway, so it's going to be a terraforming movie. They're going to go to the lava because guess what? Sky people are going to go, we need to use all this to create a bunch of steam to make our air, to make this planet breathable for us so we can move here and just make that new Earth. And so then, you know, Earth Na'vi guy.
It'll be like in Total Recall with the things that the ice shafts that go into it.
Yeah, it's going to, you got to give the people air. What is it?
Yeah. Come on, Cohagen. You have what you want. Give these people air.
Give them air.
Give the three-titty lady air.
So Sam Worthington's Avatar is going to be like, well, I've got to go to this next tribe because I'm Chalekmak Chakabak, and it's the same story. It's the first one and the second one. It's going to be the same in the third one too, to unite the people because only I can do it. And then they're going to go stop them from terraforming the planet, and it's going to be dumb. And that already sounds like a better plot than the one that we just watched because that movie was boring. It was beautiful, and the CGI was great, and all the animal effects and the makeup looks so real, and the CGI looks so real, and Sigourney's character looks so real.
Well, yeah, that's like James Jayway on Facebook earlier said he's going to watch in the theater, and so excited to see it. Never watch it at home because your home theater will never be able to compare to the way it looked in the theater when you watched it on the big screen.
Yeah, this movie is just looking at how far we've come with CGI. That's it. And it's pretty. It is a beautiful movie.
Well, James Cameron did say he would not make this until the technology was available to do it.
That's all it was. I mean, do you guys remember like in the 90s, they put out those DVDs of just, like, it was a pure mood style, like Enigma songs, like going, oh yeah, and it was like just CGI animation. It was like, look at what we can do in CGI. This was what that movie was. And if they could have easily cut out 1 hour and 45 minutes of like plants and sea things doing this, and it being like, oh, dum 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 dum, and like tribal beats, and I felt like I was in one of those like Earthstone stores for way too long, and you could have cut out so much of that, and them just like plugging in their little creepy tails into other little creepy animals, and
sail away, sail away,
yeah,
sail away.
And then there's like they commune with the whales instead of communing with the giant flappy birds, and then again these like it's so dumb that these Na'vi, they're just like they also live on the planet, but then they treat them like, oh, you've never interacted with, I've never seen a creature before, wow. And oh god, this movie was just so, it was just like lead feet, this movie. And Koyaanisqatsi, I mean, honestly, half of this movie was Koyaanisqatsi without Philip Glass music. And I guess would it be Koyan, Noyan, or it would be Koyon's creation, right? And then the middle one is industrialization, and the third one is destruction. So I think, Koyon, and Poyon. So I can't remember which one, but the creation one. If you're not familiar with the Scotsy trilogy, Koyon is Scotsy. Yeah, and it's like all Philip Glass stuff. Anyway, this movie is just CGI, tendrils and water, and people connecting to animals, and nothing happening. Just the same bad guy from the first one coming back, and they fight, and he doesn't even die. Like, they don't even get him, which means he's just going to have a fucking redemption arc in the third one, so that he's going to have a heart in the third one.
No spoiler alert.
This movie hasn't even been written yet. So
the third one is? Yeah, the third one's already filmed.
Well, have they released it? Am I giving a spoiler alert or a prediction? What's going to happen? See, I think...
No, but you gave a spoiler for this movie.
I think that guy, the bad guy, is going to come back in the third one, and he's going to be a Na'vi and learn the ways of the people, and like, oh, it's not so bad. And then in a really critical moment, he's going to sacrifice himself for the better of Pandora, and you'll have this redemption arc that's so telegraphed that it makes me want to put my head through the screen. Anyway,
everyone in the theater stood up and clapped and had tears, and Bo's just sitting there like this.
Told you.
This is dumb, and my nachos ran out 2.5 hours ago.
Exactly. Velvet says, I would rather stand in line for the ride for 3 hours than watch this movie. James says, movies like Avatar are junk food, delicious but doesn't enrich you in any way. Yes. Velvet says, that's the last. The Shredder. Vince says, what was the mood of the other people in the theater, Bo? Did they seem to like it? Most people, like, there weren't a lot of reactions in the theater. People were just kind of like watching it. It was like a bunch of children in front of an iPad for the first time. They're like, look at this. We're mesmerized by things we've never seen before. And then when they leave, they're like, well, that was kind of cool. And I was like, well, what was your favorite part? That was kind of cool. And I go, yeah, well, what was the movie about? That was kind of cool. And then one person, I was like, okay, tell me why you enjoyed it. Well, it was exactly what it should have been, which was what? It was just really cool. And I'm like, this, you can't even describe it. People that liked it can't even tell me why they liked it.
You stood at the door and you conducted interviews with people.
I do. Well, I'm the creepy weirdo.
Hey, you asshole. Come here. I got some questions for you.
Come here.
What did you think about this movie?
Tell me what you thought about this movie. But no, I sit...
Boom over, driving the big rock. What do you think about the movie? Was it good? No, it wasn't. I think it sucked. What do you think? Well, you thought it sucked too. Okay, yeah, it was pretty, whatever. Screw you, get out of here.
We agree. Moving on.
Yeah.
But no, I stand near the door, like sipping the rest of my cola, and like I'll listen to what people are saying as they leave.
Hey, Poison, come here. Hey,
you over there that didn't like the movie also? Come here. Tell me why. Tell me what you thought.
Yeah. You do like a Father Guido Sarducci interview with people?
I should.
Yeah.
But Vince says, yeah, I heard the last 45 minutes was very Transformers, fast-moving colors. It's just another big battle scene, the same as the first movie. There was so much repetition in the first movie, and then it's and I'm not going to fault James Cameron for recycling scenes from famous movies. I mean, you had great scenes from Abyss, great scenes from Titanic, great scenes from Jaws, great scenes from,
I was about to say, you can't fault James Cameron for recycling movies, scenes from his great movies.
Yeah, right. I mean, fun things from True Lies, fun things from, he knows how to make scenes that we're like, fuck yeah, dude, yeah, God. And
wait, did he have someone tied up to the chair and they tell the truth? First, I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh, there was so many people handcuffed
that was the best
to things.
In True Lies,
where he had the truth serum. There was a person strapped, not telling he would not break. I mean, it was, man. It was. If this movie had been an hour and a half long, I would have left and been like, all right, man, all right. We'll see the next one. We'll see the Lava Navi. That's whatever, dude. But you took 4 hours of my day away. And
where did the other hour come from?
The movie was at noon.
Driving there in the trailers.
I drove there, got there at noon. The movie started at 12:26, and I left the theater at 3:15, and 3:45, and then I got back to my destination at like 4:15. So yeah, it was like 4 hours of my day, and it was like, yeah, I can't. Yeah, dude, Avatar.
God. Everyone else I've talked to have been like, dude, it's sick.
Well, and it goes back to what I was saying in the pre-roll here is I feel like, like Movie Albert in the comments way earlier in the show, we were talking about Waterworld, and he was just like, yeah, I hated Waterworld. But then we were talking about how Waterworld's kind of stood the test of time. You go back and you watch a movie like Waterworld and then put it next to something like Thor, Love and Thunder, and you're like, this movie was written by 10-year-olds with crayons, and this movie's actually not so bad. Why did everybody hate this movie back in the 90s or whenever it came out? And then you're like, Waterworld. Well, and then that's the thing is like, movies are getting dumber, okay? And movies are becoming more like colorful, like, well, for the kids, man, for the kids,
Can't have Kevin Costner drinking his pee-pee.
Well, I feel like people have started to give excuses for dumb movies, thinking like, oh, well, I mean, it's just a popcorn movie, right? It's just for the kids. Like, there's a lot of just popcorn movie for the kids that are actually intelligent, great stories. Like E.T. is a popcorn movie for the kids, and you watch it and it's tragic and it's scary and it's sad and it's fun and it's exciting, and there's a whole range of story, and there's good guys and bad guys, and there's a plot development and a reason for the fucking alien to even be there in the first place, because he's lost,
because he got left behind by his buddies who don't give a crap about him.
And so he's got to get home, so there's a reason, and people forget that these movies, you can have amazing, moving stories that are for kids, they're for families, they're for popcorn consumption. They're, the first Jurassic Park is a great example of one of those movies that is a popcorn movie that actually has a lot of depth. You're like, oh, dinosaurs biting people off toilets, and it's like, yeah, it's got that.
You know what? Jurassic Park is not a movie for kids, but you know who loves Jurassic Park?
Kids. Right?
Yeah.
And Avatar's not for kids too. You know how many like white dudes get totally impaled by like spears and propulsion weapons and drowned, and their heads bit off and their arms chopped off and like limbs are flying and they're getting crushed by heavy things. There's like 150 deaths like in this movie, and they're just like, I'm a evil guy, and then they get smashed into a pile of guts, and you're like, yeah, because the whale did it, and you guys killed a whale earlier.
Well, talking Jurassic Park and not for kids, I remember my granny taking us to see Lost World because it was like summertime and we were there during the day and we watched it, and she was like, oh my god, oh I don't like any of this. And then when the T-Rex like stomped on that dude in the mud puddle and he just like got his wiped off the T-Rex foot like it was dog crap, I was like, yeah, so stoked about it.
Anyway, I think these movies like Avatar, they're playing into those things where director they can not write a good movie.
Fellas and a Mac and Me, Paul Rudd's favorite movie.
Oh, Mac and Me. James says, it's as if film executives are using machine learning to find the most profitable formula over the decades. No, that's exactly what they're doing. They've been doing this for a long time to figure out what they can craft to generate the most amount of profit with the least amount of criticism. And Velvet Santa says, I can't wait to hear your review of Cocaine Bear. And Movie Albert also says Cocaine Bear looks fun.
I want to see it based on a true story.
But again, a movie like Cocaine Bear is not going to be 3 hours long, okay? And I'm going into a movie called Cocaine Bear. And, going into Avatar, Way of the Water. After 14 years, James Cameron returns to the silver screen to recapture the magic of one of the most successful movies ever created, featuring technology that was invented just for the movie. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to see the greatest movie ever made. And I go in there and it's 3 hours of like, you're a bad guy. Don't take my family. I'm going to rescue my family. The bad guy got him again because our family's stupid. All right, we're going to rescue our family again. But the bad guy got me because I'm also stupid. Still, oh, well, the bad guy, why don't we just kill him? No, that would be silly. Why would we kill him? We'll kill every other single bad guy in the movie except the bad guy. And I'd rather watch Cocaine Bear. Velvet says that they made us play on Avatar in front of the TVs on Sam's Club back in the day. Avatar.
Yeah, because it's a visual spectacle, and it shows how good the TVs are, even though they were just opened up out of the box and plugged in and turned on without any settings.
Turn on the motion blur. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna shut up, and we're gonna do the top 10 so Jake can say things.
You know what? Hey, real quick, you know what I watched?
You watched something?
Yeah, well, I can say that kind of. I tried to watch the Matilda musical, which was a new Netflix release. It's really bad. It's so bad.
Did you not have anything to do this week?
No, I did. I had way too much to do, which is why I had to do Netflix instead of one of like the 7 Indian films that
You chose Matilda. You know what?
I mean, if I had time, I would have watched.
There was a second.
There was like 6 or 7 Indian films that came out and were in theaters.
Those are all like 3 hours long too.
Exactly. I didn't have the time. It was Christmas. I'm sorry. But yeah, the only new thing on Netflix was Matilda musical. It's god awful. It opens up with newborn babies singing. And the rest of the movie doesn't change much from there. It's all
So instead of CGI animals doing people things, it's CGI babies doing
no, the
people
babies
things.
aren't actually moving their mouths. They're sitting there, and it's like their internal thoughts.
Telekinetic. So it's look who's talking.
Kind of. And then it progresses from there, and it becomes like a remake of Matilda, but set in Britain this time because Roald Dahl, and they have his name on it. It's Roald Dahl's Matilda, the musical. It's really bad.
Wow. Okay, well, Jake's going to get...
And I watched the first episode of the Gudetama CGI / live action. I mean,
it's there.
Yeah, they took a little panel, 1 to 4 panel comic Gudetama, and turned it into a 10-minute episode series.
For those of you that don't know, I'm pretty sure that's the little booty egg.
Yeah, the egg, the little depressed egg
with the little butt.
Yeah. They focus on Gudetama's butt real hard.
That's the purpose.
So,
all the toys are just
Gudetama's like it starts out as an egg in the fridge, and it rolls and it cracks open, and it's Gudetama. And the first thing that happens is its legs spread out, and then the butt cheeks grow, and then the face happens. But the butt cheeks are like second in the
progression of evolution
of Gudetama, and then a little chick hatches, and the chick latches itself onto Gudetama, and they're like, we're going on adventure. And the episode ends with them figuring out that they're in a
refrigerator
sushi. Well, they escape the fridge, and they find out that they're in a sushi restaurant with the belt going around. So exciting things to come from the Gudetama series. It's not the same Gudetama that I've grown accustomed to.
Fallen in love with. Those aren't my cheeks.
Well, because I've been aware of Gudetama for a lot longer than I think most.
I think I remember a couple of years
American
ago.
people.
A few years ago, I gave my sister a little Gudetama for Christmas, just as a little booty.
Oh yeah, Gudetama's cool, man. I like Gudetama like the Sanrio marketing type stuff.
All all the cool little toys, the little booty toys.
Yeah, I watched Babylon Berlin on Netflix. Jake said he also watched It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, Hook, Part of Rudolph. Yeah, so Christmas watchings, I did do all of that. And my family talked through every movie except for Hook. Everyone paid attention.
Because y'all have seen them 100 times.
I've seen Hook 100 times, but it's the best Christmas movie.
Well, all right. Well, we got to do the box office because we're running out of time. So Jake's gonna do the top 10 box office in America. It was a holiday weekend, so it was a little bit of an extended box office, even though we all know what the number 1 and number 2 ones are, but we only do domestic numbers, so when the number seems a little bit low, remember that these are not worldwide numbers. These are just United States numbers. So number 10, take it away.
Oh, coming in at number 10 in its 5th week from Walt Disney's Strange World. Big drop. Went from number 4 down to number 10, but no one's been watching it anyhow. Brought in only $430,000. Even right there, bringing its domestic take at $35.6 million. Not anywhere what Disney would want it to be, but they didn't put any advertisement out, so that's on them. Tons of action figures from that movie that no kid's going to buy because they don't know anything about it. Coming in at number 9, The Menu, also big drop from 5 to 9 in its 6th week of release, $680,000, bringing its domestic total up to just shy of $34 million.
And it did get booted out of 1,000 theaters this week.
Sure, and that's one of those where it's 6 weeks in the theaters, and bringing in that kind of money is probably good for that type of movie. Mm-hmm. Also, not a lot of advertising out there for it, but
it was a Searchlight picture, so
yeah, it's definitely like a awards
it's so
focused
weird.
Film.
It's so weird saying Searchlight Pictures in 20th Century Studios and not like 20th Century Fox and Fox Searchlight.
Yeah, still Disney, huh?
Yeah.
And then in its 7th week out, number 8, The Fabelmans brought in $750,000. A lot of these are even numbers, which is weird. And then its domestic intake is only $9.9 million, but it actually got another
a little bump.
160 theaters. So Fableman's still out there doing its
Just
thing, I
some
guess.
Oscar bait.
Yeah, for sure. And then number 7, The Whale, climbing from number 14 because it added, didn't add any theaters. It just got more popular, I guess.
Popular, yeah.
It brought in just over $1 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $2.5 million, which we do have at a local theater right now.
Wait, we have The Whale?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll have to see it this week.
Yep, it's available at a local theater right now. Saw that when I looked today to see if I would have any time.
Is it
to
at the
watch a movie.
Melco?
I think so. And then in number 6, big drop from number 2, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and its 7th week out, brought in $3.5 million, even bringing its domestic total to $426 million. They can handle that big drop because what's it matter? They made tons and tons and tons of
All
money.
the monies.
And then in its 4th week out, number 5, Violent Night, still hanging in there, brought in $3.5 million. Its domestic total is just a hair shy of $42 million. That one's fun. We both watched it independently and had a good time. Liked it. And then opening at number 4, Babylon, $3.6 million.
Not a strong opening, though. That's only a 100,000 more than the 5th and 6th movie.
Yeah, I was already seeing articles where it's like Margot Robbie's second big old flop of the year. Dumb old Margot Robbie and stupid movies. So
I want to see it, though.
yeah, maybe. And then also opening number 3. Whoa, this one opened above it. Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, $4.765 million.
Still a small opening.
Yeah. So that one's out there. You can watch a semi-true history of Whitney Houston.
You don't see a
and
lot
her.
of TriStar movies either these days, like the Pegasus TriStar.
That's true. And then another opening weekend, Puss in Boots came in at number 2, 12.420 on that one. So
Puss in Boots.
it actually had a bit of a preview, so its domestic total is actually $18.5 million.
Holiday days.
So Puss in Boots probably not doing near as good as they would want it to, but compared to everything else, kicked the shit out of Whitney Houston and Babylon.
Yep.
And of course, at number 1 in its 2nd week out, Avatar: Way of the Water brought in $64 million even. Now, the weird thing about the even numbers here is that the only one in the top 10 that did not have an even number is The Whale, which was $1,008,819.
I wonder if that has
and that's
to-
more the numbers that I'm used to seeing.
I wonder if it has anything to do with like pricing of
Holiday ticket pricings.
ticket pricing being different for limited release in small theaters. You
Yeah,
never know.
it's just the one for The Whale makes more sense because it's like some theaters have tickets at 12, some of them have them at 14, some of them have them at 15. Some
And we usually don't tell you we don't usually
Like
say
exact-
18,522,855. We'll usually round it up, but these numbers are all saying even, but
yeah,
it's kind of weird.
super weird. $64 million, 261.6 is its gross intake for domestic, but it is nearly $900 million worldwide in its 2nd week out. So just shy of
huge
$1 billion
worldwide,
in 2 weeks. James Cameron said this one needs to make $2 billion just to make it where it is
Worth its
able
time.
to pay for itself. So
This movie did not cost $1.5 billion to make.
he filmed like 2, 3, and 4 like all at the same
So
time.
he's trying to pay for all 4 of them with this one?
No, because Dina, our resident like movie numbers person, said that $2 billion is what he said this one was. But that might be like film time, actors, technology, holding it in the vault, advertising for 5 years.
There's no way he spent $2 billion.
Who knows, man? I don't
No
know.
way. You can own a planet for like $2 billion, it seems like. You can fly to space for $2 billion. For $2 billion, you can own a country.
We're talking about billions of dollars. In that AI movie I was talking about earlier, Safe Zone, at the end of it, the newscaster was like, billionaire Elon Musk buys the Safe Zone.
And that's true.
Yeah.
That's what would happen. Anyway, that's your top 10 movies in America. You can go see any of them if you wanna. We just talked about Avatar. We will be back next week. We will talk about something. Maybe I'll see The Whale if it's playing still at our local theater. But we thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. We are out there on your Twitch. We're out there on their Facebook. We're out there on the YouTube. We simulcast to all three of these things every Monday night live at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. And if you want to chat with us throughout the week, you can hit us up on our Discord. Link is in our channel bios or probably in the chat here in just a moment when one of our viewers throws it out there. Bam! Thank you, Vince.
Vince, quick on it.
You can join in the conversation there with some of our viewers and us, and it's a lot of fun. So anyway, we hope you guys had a really fun holiday week. New Year's Eve is approaching. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up in the new year. Hopefully, we might try and do our worst of 2022 list, but that won't be until mid-January because we got to have time to catch up and watch all these movies that are on our backlog because we do not put movies on our list we haven't seen. So that's kind of always a rule. And for our worst of list, it is movies that have come out in the theater because movies that just came out, it's just too... it's too big. It's too big, when you count all the streaming services and all that kind of crap. So it's just theatrical releases. It's the way we do it. So stay tuned for that. And like, subscribe, share, be cool, be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And we will see you next week. Jake, you got anything else?
No, we hadn't done that in a while, so party on, dudes.
All right. Later, y'all.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.